Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Diz Unplugged episode 1222 for the week of June 6th, 2023. Coming to you live from the Bob Varley studio in Orlando, Florida. I am your host, Craig Williams, and we've got a real skeleton crew today. So joining me at the table is the one and only, quite literally, Julie Martin.
Hey, y'all.
And then back running the show on the controls, we have Rhino.
Yummy, yummy.
Yeah, and that's all we have. Everyone else is either on vacation or just doesn't want to be here. And with me as host, I don't understand why, but that's their prerogative to do whatever they want.
My prerogative.
We're still going to do this anyways. We're going to have a lot of fun talking about Disney. And before we get to that, I want to remind you this is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. If you like our content and you want to support us, book a vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel. It costs you no extra money and you get the support of one of the awesome Dreams Unlimited Travel agents. So head over to dreamsunlimitedtravel.com today for a free, no obligation quote. Now, also, I want to remind you about our Patreon, the Diz Unplugged on Patreon. You can find it at patreon.com/DizUnplugged. There is the after show that happens every single Tuesday after we are done recording our Walt Disney World Edition show. And then Rhino will ramble from time to time. Erica posts updates from her life. Jackie posts updates from her life. I need to start posting updates again about my life. Then, Pete has his solo shows every now and then. I'm still waiting on those files for the next one from him. So it will be out there as soon as I get them from him. And that's all available on our Patreon at different levels of tiers. But in terms of the after show, you get that even with the lowest tier at $3 a month. So if you want that extra information, patreon.com/DizUnplugged. Now, I know I'm not Rhino, and it's going to be very hard for me here to pretend like I care about your lives, but I'm still going to check in and say, how you doing this week?
How you doing? You say like an animated mouse.
Julie, how's your life?
He doesn't care.
I know. I just said that.
I know.
You
So
know-
I'm
yeah.
assaulted right now.
Okay.
You know what else he said before the show started? He's
That he's
only
not attracted to you.
Yeah, not even physically. It's personality,
Yeah.
which hurt more than physically.
I know, right?
Physically, I understand. I look like soft serve ice cream right now.
I'm
But
more of a Chris
Oh.
Hemsworth type.
excuse me.
Oh, he needs more muscles.
It's a little,
Personality. He's so funny.
a beautiful oasis.
I'm doing well.
Good.
I am. I wore
I'm glad
green.
you're
I
here.
wore green eyeshadow for Tiana today.
No, I'm very excited to talk about
Yeah,
that. No.
your article was so wonderful.
Thank you.
I read the whole thing. It made me. I'm a Louisianian, but it made me want to go and pretend to be a tourist. So.
I tried to erase the fact that I was a major tourist, but at the same time, too, I was definitely a tourist.
Your tale about the Gators. Oh, my. I can just imagine those people that were leading your tour were just not afraid at all.
No. But that was
Insurance.
That was the hard part. They were so they were just so
Like Steve Irwin with
lackadaisical
crocodiles?
it. Yeah, they
Yes.
just didn't care so much. I was sitting one person away from the guy who was driving the boat, and I'm like, maybe I should reach out and try to pet
No,
the alligators
Greg!
too. But then I always watch on social media. I always watch the guy who goes around the Florida Everglades catching pythons, and he basically just
A python is not an alligator.
no, but he pets the alligators and stuff and calls them swamp puppies.
Okay.
F that. Those are dinosaurs just waiting to eat us like we're sitting on a toilet in a Jurassic Park movie. I
Right?
am not having it.
I'm just trying to not get eaten by anything, okay?
Yeah.
That's
Sharks,
okay.
alligators, whatever.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. But we do have to talk about Tiana a lot. I'm going to ask Rhino. You doing good? Okay.
No, I don't want to talk about it.
That's fine. That's fine.
Whoa.
I'm fine.
It'll come out as we continue talking about Disney today, I am sure. Any housekeeping to mention?
Did you check your butt?
I didn't. So, well, if we don't have anything to talk about at the top of the show here.
I do want to say
Okay.
it just on this show because I forgot to say it last week, but I went and filmed, this is a little bit about Universal, but I went and filmed the new Jurassic Park, the 30th anniversary tribute store, and there was a woman there who was like, "Oh my God,
Rhino!"
And I was like, "Oh no, is something happening?" And it was for us. But she was like, "We just moved here," and she made her daughter like come out of the store with like merchandise in her hand. I thought they were gonna get like flanked by security and everything, but they were very, very sweet. And they have like lived here for I think like 6 months or something like that. Moved to Claremont. Can't remember the names, but can remember the whole story about all that. But they were just very nice. So I just want to say, when anybody stops and says hi to us, we do. It is a little bit of a morale booster. So it's very nice. I don't like to say ego boost, but I like to, some days you're down and it's like when you give a random stranger a compliment and it feels like that same sort of vibe. So it's nice.
It's nice to know that what you do touches someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
Here, here.
I also
Very well
had
said.
an encounter, except mine was not accidental. Mine was on purpose, with a listener and also someone that I have been friends with just on Instagram. And her name is Nikki, and we had Gideons together, and it was wonderful. So thank you, Nikki.
What cookie did you have?
It was a white chocolate macadamia something.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I always
that's
get the
good.
regular coffee because I'm not into I don't want peanut butter in my coffee. Thanks.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You don't want sugar overload when you're there.
No.
It's very easy to
I
get
couldn't
that.
even eat the whole cookie, y'all.
Oh, they're not meant
I
to
don't.
be
Yeah,
eaten
it
in
takes.
one.
No.
Takes me a
I
week.
still have some. It's been a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I break out. What I'll do is I'll break a little piece off, and I'm like, "Ooh, you little bad boy over here in the kitchen."
Oh, really? I eat like a quarter at a time.
Yeah. I think that's the fair way to eat Gideons. So, good. Very good. So, should we get to the news?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, first up, we already talked about Tiana just a little bit in the intro there when Julie brought up New Orleans, but let's get into it. Oh, gosh, I just said New Orleans. I
yeah.
meant to say New Orleans. We had this discussion on the dining show last week that I randomly brought up while it was on my mind.
But if you want to
and
be really correct, you would say New Orleans.
I will not do that.
I refuse.
We already know that I have
Barcelona.
enough trouble with the English language. I don't have to start butchering other people's languages as well, too. But yes, I was on a not so super secret trip to New Orleans
I
a
blew
little
the
while
surprise.
ago.
Sorry. Yeah.
Mostly
that was
because,
really funny.
every single time we did a show with Rhino knowing that it was a
How was your
secret trip
trip?
and embargoed.
Craig's like, I
go
didn't
on
have a trip.
I didn't know it was a secret.
It was. So, but it's okay. We kept it under wraps. But I went on a super secret trip to New Orleans to learn more about Tiana's Bayou adventure. This was supposed to be like a research trip along with people from Walt Disney Imagineering, Walt Disney Animation, where you just, get an idea about what's happening with the attraction and how they've been inspired to create it. And so there was news released with it, not just me going there and learning about all of the details of behind the attraction and the research involved. So I'm going to just start by bullet pointing the news basically and say that in terms of what the news was, we were introduced to the Bayou critters that were playing instruments in the last concept art that was released, I believe. Might have been a couple ago, but, you're floating in the log and you see all the critters on the left-hand side playing instruments, looking like they're having a great time.
Fat beaver.
Yeah, a very fat beaver, which
They're
I did
very
not
happy.
see any beavers when I was in the Bayou, but I can say the raccoon
They're really
is-
cool.
I want to see a beaver one day in the wild beyond like a zoo. I've only seen them in zoo
Possum. I see a
settings.
possum.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. These critters are some of the 17 new characters that Disney is physically creating for Tiana's Bayou adventure, because it is going to be a very physical attraction in terms of like the actual plant life that's in there. It's not going to be real plants. Disney Imagineers can't do everything, but part of their research trips to the Bayou have had them actually really study the lily pads, the tree life, the plant life, and try to accurately recreate it. So when you are floating through Tiana's Bayou adventure, it feels as authentic as it can to actually being in that setting. Princess and the Frog is a really great animated movie where they also went to New Orleans and did research and tried to accurately depict it as well as they could, but ultimately too that it's an animated world. And for this, Disney wants to really try to blend what was done in an animated sense, but also make it feel like it's actually there, like it could be really in the New Orleans area. So it's very cool in that way. They already said before that there was going to be dozens of animatronics, and they're they're all going to be like really in that physical form, including the hero characters like Tiana, Naveen, Lewis, Mama Odie, and then those 17 new characters are also going to be physically created. One of those characters that was revealed was Ralphie, Naveen's little brother, and basically we're going to get to see him in the ride playing a drum set like was in the concept art. And what's cool about this, like the entire attraction's taking place in the 1920s of New Orleans, and so again, they went on these research trips trying to find out what's authentic to this time period. So they went to, it's very music heavy in New Orleans as well as Princess and the Frog. So they go to the New Orleans Jazz Museum to look for inspiration. And like they're going through, and the curator of the museum has this drum set, and that is pretty much all from that time, older, some random parts thrown together, but that right there is like how Disney gets their inspiration to put Ralphie behind this drum set. And so yeah, there's going to be a little Ralphie animatronic in there banging away on the drums. I'm very, very excited for it. It's not just going to be physical. There's also going to be new animation that's produced for the attraction that will be displayed on screens. It'll showcase some of the characters, but they also said it's going to be used in like kind of a magical way, which I think that's going to be more like background usage. I'm thinking maybe along the lines of like how Rise of the Resistance uses screens to kind of set the mood of space a little bit better. It could be the exact same way or not. They didn't say for sure.
Like they use it in what's the Avatar ride with the river?
Oh yeah, Na'vi River Journey.
Yeah.
Prince
Na'vi River Journey. Boom, nailed it.
In terms of the music, we already mentioned that, but they announced that there would be 2 New Orleans musicians that were going to be working on the attraction. The first is New Orleans native PJ Morton, who is writing, arranging, and producing an original song for the attraction. They praised it over and over again while we were there, but did not let us listen to any of it, because part of the reason why they were down there was for recording sessions. So it was happening in real time while we were there, but PJ is also producing all new arrangements of the songs from Princess and the Frog for the ride portion. And I didn't know anything about PJ Morton. A lot of the other people in the media who were on the trip seemed very excited. I had no idea who he was, but he's a member of Maroon 5, apparently. Yeah. He's released solo albums, wrote and produced for other artists, and he's been involved in 4 Grammy Award wins. Nice. So definitely has some... he has some heft behind his name, as well as the Grammy Award-winning and Oscar-nominated musician Terrence Blanchard, who is also a New Orleans native, and he's handling the cue music from what they said. He's selecting songs from the film, along with choosing iconic themes from New Orleans music. So probably a lot of Zydeco and other good classics. If we don't hear When the Saints Go Marching In, I don't know. It's not going to be a great ride for me at that point. The music in the queue will be coming from an antique radio, which was also inspired by one found at the New Orleans Jazz Museum. And also, this is how they're going to build the story up. You're going to hear the music in the queue, but they're also going to give like announcements like Tiana's planning a party and she needs your help. So that's how they're going to really build this story that they've been trying to build leading up to it. And Terrence was the trumpeter for Lewis in Princess and the Frog, so he has connection to the movie. He has composed the scores for most of the Spike Lee movies, starting with Malcolm X, Black Klansman, Defy Bloods, like pretty much all of them over the past years and years. So also very, very acclaimed in that way. And that's the big news that really came out of this, which, it's all one step closer to this ride being open in late 2024. I know it's probably not a lot of exciting news for people out there. They want to see more, hear more, but we just have to wait on that.
Yeah.
I'm interested. It's one of those, I feel like Disney does this with a lot of things. Attractions, storytelling, whatever they do. It's like Disney Springs, you know what I mean? Like there is probably a encyclopedia-sized backstory for that place that you just wouldn't... You don't really think. I don't think the average person goes in thinking about it or anything like that. But that's the Disney sort of touch, right? Is to really be like every brick, every little nook and cranny has a history for being there. I'm curious to see how much of that story will actually translate to like the average person sitting in the vehicle going down the thing, because it sounds interesting. Like Naveen's brother, like, are we gonna know that's his brother, or we
I
just know
would.
because they told us?
He is in
Yeah.
the movie.
Oh,
very briefly.
He is in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
He
haven't-
dances with Lottie at the end. She's like, "Are you a
yeah,
prince too?" And
yeah.
she's like, "Well, I waited this
Oh,
long."
yeah. Okay. I haven't seen it in a couple years, so I don't remember. But
Oh,
okay,
gosh.
that's cute. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but you
I've
have to
only
be-
seen it like 2,500 times.
Yeah, you
I
would
like
have to
it,
be a huge
yeah.
fan of the movie in order to probably know.
I mean,
you know,
I'll
some of those characters. Everyone knows Big Daddy though.
Yeah.
Oh, we know Big
New
Daddy.
Orleans' own John Goodman.
John Goodman.
Yes.
But I mean, I'll watch it again before the ride opens, obviously, too. I enjoyed this movie. I think last time I watched it was on one of the cruise ships when they had a Tiana's. The Wonder has the Tiana's
Place?
dining room. Tiana's Place, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I watched it like when that was, because I was like, oh, I'm all in that mood now. Plus,
Yeah.
I love Lewis so much. I want one of those belly buttons that goes in, not out.
Oh,
Or
I have
outy.
one of those.
Yeah, the story's going to be hard because a lot of it's going to be built in the queue, and I think that's partially why Disney has taken the strategy that they have with so much information about the story. And I already did another video all about my experience in New Orleans, so I don't really want to like rehash too much of this here, but I also know there's people who are watching and listening to this that didn't bother with that, so I don't want to like completely bypass it. But basically, to go into a little detail with it, Disney invited me on this trip a couple months back, and they pitched it as it was a unique trip focusing on research in the attraction with all those creative members from Disney. And I have to be completely honest with it. I didn't know if I wanted to say yes to it because there's a couple things. First off, we don't really cover stuff like this. We are very straightforward with our coverage on the site. This was out of left field for me specifically, considering all the video work I do. I did not see contextually how I could go there and even do it in like a vlog style. So it was really hard to piece it out. But then also, I hate saying it in this way, but when they asked me, the first thing I thought of is they are asking me to come on an all expenses paid trip to New Orleans for Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and I'm a 30-something-year-old white guy that lives in Orlando, Florida, that covers Disney parks as a fan site. I almost felt like I wasn't the right person, and maybe that's just an internal thing, but it's what I kind of dealt with, and I expected a lot of judgment from it as well, because we obviously know Disney is not in the best place right now. You know, it felt weird that we've been talking about layoffs nonstop, and then it's also like, oh, but they're also sending a trip to New Orleans with media. So there was a lot of things behind this making me not necessarily want to go, but ultimately I did. And even with that, like, I don't like how they've set up the story. Like, when they announced Tiana's Bayou Adventure, it did feel like it was a response to what was happening in that time period in May of 2020 and June of 2020 with where the world was. And they said they had been working on it for years, but it just, with the timing that it hit, it felt like it. And then in the time since, they haven't really announced a lot in terms of like really what to expect. It's just been all about the backstory. And Tiana owns a food spice company now, and the reason there's a mountain there is because there's salt mounds that were around back in that time. So that's how we tie it all in. And it felt like they were trying to justify and further explain the sequel side of it, and it never really clicked with me. But once I got to New Orleans and they started showing us around and really showing how much effort they put into making an authentic experience, that's when it clicked with me and understood, like, this story is important. And it scares me that they only have a queue, a line to try to explain this. And if you've been in a line with Disney, you know what to expect. It's going to be loud. You're not going to be able to hear much. There will be people taking photos when there's something to take photos of. There will be people screaming. There will be people on their phone. I don't
People
know.
leaning on the thing you're trying to see.
I don't know how it's going to work, but
Maybe there's gonna be a number 2.
a number 2.
Like
As
someone
in a
pooped in
sequel?
the line?
So
okay. I was
they're
like,
working on
what?
it Disney Plus.
The show. I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah.
So who knows if it'll tie in. They said they're working with Walt Disney Animation and Disney Plus on every step of the process, making sure it all works. But for me, with with all of this, like, I hope the story comes across, but I was still a little judgmental with all of it until I saw the response from people from New Orleans in Louisiana, and that's kind of changed my mind even more on it. Like, you sent me a message. I've been inundated with messages from people saying, like, I can't believe how much attention they're giving to New Orleans and trying to accurately represent it. And I didn't think that was a big deal. Like, I'm from Pittsburgh area. If they were making a ride based in Pennsylvania, I don't care how authentic. They
have
go
you
to
heard of
Pittsburgh.
Hershey Park?
Well-
Not even close, Rhino.
You know, as Southerners, we get stereotyped a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we do, especially people that are from the South, and you may have a very thick Southern accent, like a lot of New Orleanians, a lot of people from the Bayou, and people where I'm from who sound more like this, but you're judged for that. And you're judged by, even judged from just being from that area, considered maybe not smart enough or not whatever enough. But to show that our state, and specifically New Orleans, has such a fabulous history that should be shared and should be seen, in my opinion, way to go, Disney.
Yeah.
Especially from reading your article, you know, like just very
'cause
impressive.
They care about the culture,
Yeah.
and they think other people should care too. And it's easy to sit on the outside and say, why should I care? I just want a fun ride. Splash Mountain was fun. Yes, it has a troubled background, but I just want a fun ride at the end of the day. But ultimately, like, as Rhino said and pointed out, isn't that also part of the Disney difference? By taking it the extra step, you walk through New Orleans Square, and it does
I
feel
love
like
it
you're
there.
in an idealized version of the French Quarter. But
Yeah.
like, that's the detail that makes it matter.
Right.
I don't know if some people have just, glossed over the fact that that's what it is about, but that is what sets apart Disney from so many other people. And if it doesn't register with you, then that means also Disney's doing their job at times too, where it just ingrains into you and it sinks into you without you even knowing. So in terms of the story, at the end of the day, I don't think the story does matter, as long as, they still have their big moment at the end going down and it feels like a big party. I think people are going to love it, but ultimately too, they're going to branch it across to a different group of people that, whether they're from Louisiana, the South, New Orleans, people who love the city, that are going to be like, this is just next level.
Yeah.
And it's all very exciting in that way. And, I really hope people go and read other articles like mine and other people that were on the trip to learn more about it, because there's so much more there. Like, we got, in my other video I posted, we got time to go to Dookie Chase's in, how's it pronounced? Is it Treme?
Treme.
Treme. Thank you. That's one of the ones that screwed up. It's okay, Rhino. It's all good. But Dookie Chase's is a restaurant that right now managed by Stella Chase, and her mom Leah Chase was one of the people who inspired Tiana. So it's like, with that, like,
it's real people. Like,
yes,
it's not,
thank
it's
you.
inspired by someone who is real. Tiana's obviously a made up character, but she was inspired by someone who existed within the New Orleans area. And for a long, I think she didn't die until like in her 90s, maybe even 100. She was
in
very
the
old.
mid-2000s.
Yeah, but she was very old.
Yeah.
So.
No, for sure. And yeah, it's just all the little extra steps that they took and what we got to learn on the trip just added so much more to my appreciation for the restaurant, and or not for the restaurant, for the attraction, but then what will come with the restaurants too. Disneyland is getting Tiana's Palace, where French Market was, and that's not going to change a lot there. But the one little fun tidbit is one of the people there flat out asked if we were getting a restaurant in Walt Disney World, and they went into we cannot give any details at this time. So it's the way they presented it.
They have
the body
they have a
language,
spot.
It's happening. Yeah, and I've gone back and forth with some people in comments and stuff about it with Pecos Bill. It's a huge restaurant, and really it can be tied into Tiana's Bayou Adventure so well.
Yes.
Change the facade of it. You have Country Bear Jamboree that is like south adjacent in a
Isn't it
Pioneer Hall, in like a Grizzly Hall. It's very Florida-esque.
It's supposed to be Florida. I thought it was like Florida Americana, because don't they talk about Tampa?
They do, but I mean, obviously, too, the original idea for the attraction was going to be in the mountains of California. So it's like
gotcha.
but that theming, like, you have that weird theming that kind of takes you out of Frontier and starts to add in the South. You can just change Pecos, the outside, and it can still all be part of Frontierland. It doesn't have to be, this has to be New Orleans.
Isn't Louisiana technically, wouldn't that have been part of the Frontier anyways? No? Is it
I
not
mean,
count? I don't know.
if you
I don't
look
know
at it
what
from, like,
is the Frontier, so I don't know.
If you look at it from Louisiana Purchase, I guess you could
Yeah,
stretch
I
it to
mean-
that they didn't always,
Yeah.
the United States
Didn't
didn't
Lewis
always.
and Clark end up in Louisiana? Am I making that up? The Explorers? Is that crazy? Didn't somebody go up the bayou, like into Louisiana? They started there. Somebody. It's probably not Lewis and Clark, but
I mean, pretty
They
much
did
all of the
explore a
United
lot.
States was explored. I don't know the exact origins of where Lewis and Clark started. I should know, considering I'm such a fan of the movie Almost Heroes, which, of course, is Chris Farley and Matthew Perry trying to beat Lewis and Clark to the
oh, I see. I thought
to
you were going to
the,
say you're a big Terry Hatcher fan and you loved the
Pacific.
Lois and Clark. That's
No.
Lois and Clark. Sorry.
So I should know more about it in that way. But yeah, it's regardless. Who cares about Frontierland? It's a name. It's a nomenclature attached to it. If they can tie in a new restaurant,
Pirates is
refresh
right
it.
there, and New Orleans is very piratey.
Well, it
I
also
would love
like
for them to take over Pirates. Add that to a greater New Orleans
I mean-
area.
oh, I see what you're saying. I was like, what? But in the original, in like the comic book I read that Disney put out with the pirates, there's a whole like captain. There's a whole water. Not pirates. I'm sorry. I was thinking Haunted Mansion because that's in Louisiana and Disneyland. I feel like I just had the equivalent of smelling burnt toast. I'm sorry.
They left out of St. Louis.
St. Louis. Oh, did they? Okay, because I literally have it up right now. I'm trying to scan through it. So
We got it.
They were definitely in Louisiana, though. I see
I'm
it
sure.
right here on my little purple. Louisiana was all the middle. So right here, they started out of St. Louis.
This is American history with Rhino.
But all through, yeah, it's
kind of
just
like
drunk
history
history. is what I feel
of
like.
flags with Shelton.
Yeah.
Well, this is either a highlight of the show in terms of our research, or it's a low light.
Oh,
I'm not quite sure.
I would like to point
What?
out, no, I was right. The motive of their exploration was to explore the 1803 Louisiana Purchase.
Oh, good. Okay.
So we were right.
Awesome.
I was right, but that's fine.
I just know she
know
had a
what?
baby and carried it on her back like 18 months or so.
That I didn't know. That's crazy.
Yeah, I believe she means Sacagawea.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was like, Lewis or Clark?
Neither one of them gave birth, I'm pretty sure.
I just assumed one of them was the Daily Planet report. It's hard to separate.
Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to jump off of Tiana's Bayou Adventure here, and we're going to kind of loop around real quick to 2024 vacation packages. I know we mentioned last week that reservations opened up, and well, back then they were opening up, and they actually have now.
Fully blossomed.
And I just wanted to give an update from our side of the house in terms of the return of the dining plan in particular. It seems like Disney made a very smart move bringing it back, at least from our agency standpoint, because our agents are reporting that most people who are booking 2024 vacation packages, believe it or not,
They
they're
wanna eat.
adding on dining packages
Wow.
because they really want that all-inclusive vacation feeling that, Disney used to be known for, especially with the Magical Express. So looks like they're smart, taking some steps to bringing back that feeling, and people are latching onto it, which it's great to hear. When it was released, dining plans were released. They also had the pricing go with it. The quick service dining plan, $57.01 per adult and $28.83 per child, and that includes 2 quick service meals with an alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverage per meal, plus 1 snack and 1 resort refillable mug. And the Disney dining plan jumped up incredibly to $94.28 per adult and $29.69 per child. That includes 1 table service meal, 1 quick service meal, the alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverage per meal, 1 snack, and 1 resort refillable mug, and that's all per night, I should say, not per day. And so in terms of the pricing before, the regular plan now, as I said, is $94. Before it was $78 in 2020. The quick service plan only went up to $57 from $55. And of course, do to remember with the regular dining service plan, that does not include your tips for your table service meals. That only includes the price of the meal plus tax and all of it. And the resort mug right now costs $21.99 for the length of your stay. So, I don't even really like factoring that in, because if you stay for 7 days, 7 nights, then at that point it's a couple dollars a day that is for the mug each day. It's negligible in terms of the price. So I ran numbers on it because that's what I do, and I hate myself for it. But I was trying to still get a grip on it to know, like, can this be a good deal for people, or is it better used as one of those methods of, I just want to prepay for my meals and not bother having to worry about it once I'm there. And, you could absolutely do that, and I don't think you'll lose a ton of money, but it is possible to definitely come out ahead. Like, and I even looked at Magic Kingdom because with the regular dining plan in particular, because I'm like, this is a good test because their quick service restaurants don't have alcoholic options, but their table services do. So let's look at it from that perspective. So, like, if you eat at Columbia Harbor House, I chose the trio combo there and a fountain drink with that, and you get to, like, right at $20. And if you do Skipper Canteen for dinner, I chose, like, the pork for $28, the kungaloosh for dessert, that's $9, and the Jungle Bird for $14.50 because cocktails are included as part of the alcoholic options. You get to, like, right at $55. Throw in a pineapple float as a snack, and you're at a total of $82, like right around there. So under the 94 day, but that's also with Magic Kingdom. You throw on an alcoholic beverage with your lunch, you're going to add another, $6-7 right there in the price of that. The pork at Skipper Canteen is a very fair price at $28. There was stuff on that menu for $38. So maybe you don't want to just go for all the expensive things, but I could have, with a Magic Kingdom meal, doing it in that way, I could have got it, well over $100 for that one day. So when you're spending $94 for that day, you can actually get savings on it. But it's just shocking when you see it on paper to say, oh, it jumped from $75 to $95. Like, that seems like a lot, but I feel like they did justify it. Inflation drove prices up a lot. So you kind of get there. But whether or not it's your thing, that's up for you to decide. But a lot of people are jumping back on it. So I think it'll be around with us for a long time here. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So moving on from the dining plan, let's talk about the most expensive vacation ever, one that I didn't think was going to come back, but here it is. Adventures by Disney announced the return of the Disney parks around the world, a private jet adventure in 2024, a 24-day globe-trotting private jet vacation explicitly designed for the ultimate Disney fan.
The ultimate millionaire, billionaire Disney fan.
You know what? Anyone can make this happen by
if they win the lottery,
sacrificing everything you have in life. I could sell my house right now, and
Your
we could go
child.
on this vacation. Well, no, we've run the numbers on that, and it's not going to work at this time. But maybe one day, maybe when he has more to offer in the world besides just pooping and sleeping,
Pooping.
and smiling. He smiles a lot, but. Yeah, so it is going to take you. What?
It looks fabulous. Can I just say it does? Like, it looks like a wonderful time. Did you see those seats on that jet?
Yeah, so I didn't include a photo for the people visually watching, but in terms of that, they are very much like they're very much along the lines that a lot of major airlines have started adding now to, especially international flights. I know we have them on some Delta flights to Los Angeles. It's like, it's not called first class. It's called like it's a step above what most places have, or like the comfort level, but then it's in between that and first class.
I don't know. Those look nicer than first class.
I flew on it when Corey and I had it when we went on our Disneyland trip, and they had it in our first class, but I also sat in them. I sat in them on another trip. I don't know where I was coming from, but I was by myself, and it was cool because it's like not quite as wide as first class, but then as soon as you get the footrest up, like you feel like you're a little bit more comfy
nice.
and you can relax. But the flight I was on, it was a very short flight, so I didn't even get to take advantage of. I know it was coming from Atlanta down to Orlando, so it's like, ooh, I'm in these super comfy seats, and
And
I
then you're
even
landing.
I even posted. I sent a picture to Rhino, and I'm
Yeah.
like bragging about it for my hour-long flight and my fancy seats that I got upgraded to. But yeah, it would be very comfortable as you have the chance to experience all 12 Disney parks, 3 Disney studios, 3 iconic landmarks in India, Egypt, and France, and it's limited to 150 guests across 2 departures, leaving June 16th, 2024 through July 8th, and July 28th through August 20th. Of 2024 as well. The minimum age is 12 years old, and the pricing starts at $114,995 per person. And if you are an Adventure Insider with 3+ previous adventures, you can book on June 12th. Adventure Insiders with 1 to 2 previous adventures, June 14th. Golden Oak residents and Club 33 members, June 16th. And bookings for the general public on June 19th. My mom's birthday. Maybe someone wants to buy it for her as a birthday present.
She's in the chat.
Only a mere $115,000 starting at, because obviously, you know, it's ABD. The price starts going up the more people book and the less space fills out. So I'm very interested to know what the max is that someone would have to pay on it.
Ugh.
It makes me sick to my stomach. But I mean, the itinerary, as Julie pointed out,
It's amazing.
it honestly looks amazing. The one thing, again, it's probably because we live in Orlando.
Yeah, can we
I
skip
would just
that
want
part?
to end that part, because it starts in Anaheim, and you get to. It's very weird how it's handled, because you go and check in at the Grand Californian, and you know you're there at Disney, but then for your like first day adventure, you go to the Walt Disney Studios, so you have to get on a bus and go to the studios, and then back to Disneyland. You know, obviously VIP tours throughout the parks, private breakfast experiences, and private meals. They said there's like a reception inside the Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln Theater, which is like,
Wow.
I mean, that's cool. When you're spending $115,000, like I would hope for something like that. From California, they fly up to San Francisco and go to the Walt Disney Family Museum. They go to Lucasfilm to be able to do the campus tour there. They have dinner at the Tonga Room, and that is a tiki bar inside the Fairmont in San Francisco that I was dying to go to. It was closed on the days that I was there.
No.
Such a disappointment.
That is disappointing.
It was very disappointing. From there, you then fly to Tokyo. It's going to take you all day, and this is where it got really interesting for me, because I'm like, okay, you're just going to be stuck in Tokyo, even though they said Japan, but really they have it like you have a day in the parks, and then you have the choice of, do you want more park time, or do you want to go and explore Tokyo? And I'm like, okay,
Explore.
That's what I would be doing. Yeah, I'd be going off and exploring, and then, you know, you're going to get enough time in the parks because they're taking you on all this stuff. Then you get to do the same exact thing in Shanghai. You can explore, go to the parks. From there, Hong Kong. Again, same thing. And that's when it first starts to break off, because then you get to go to India. And, of course, you get to see the Taj Mahal,
Yes,
because
that's very cool.
when in India, what do you do?
See the Taj Mahal.
I believe that, and I'm sure you get some good food. Then
Eat, pray, love. No, sorry.
Eat, pray, love? No?
She prayed there.
Did she?
Yes.
I don't remember.
She
Okay,
ate in Italy. She prayed in India, right?
Fine. I'll
I
admit
think.
the truth.
And then I don't
never
know where. I don't
watched it.
remember. I don't remember where she loved.
I never watched it. I didn't read the book either.
Oh, I think it was Bali.
Fun.
Anyway.
That's where I'd fall in love at. Except I fell in love at Universal. So there you go.
Same difference.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Then you go to Cairo, and of course you have the pyramids and
That's cool.
beautiful
I can
Egypt.
only think about the Minion movie. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
About the what?
The kid,
Minion movie.
he climbs up, he falls into the pyramid, and
Yeah.
it bounces him back up, and that's how the pyramids at Giza have been stolen. Sorry.
And I can only think of the hit Disney film Murder on the Nile.
Did you see the preview for the new one?
Yes, looks good.
Yeah.
It does look good. From there, you go to Paris, and you have time at Disneyland
Okay,
Paris.
Paul.
You get to see what's it called, Le Tour Eiffel. I don't remember.
There you go.
Yeah, it's
Eiffel Tower.
yeah. That's it. Thank you. And from Paris, then you fly to beautiful
Orlando!
sunny Orlando, Florida, where
God.
you get put up at the Grand Floridian.
Sad
and
end.
Yeah, that's why I'm like
Start there. Start
Yes,
there.
start there.
My
Yeah,
God.
it's
also,
tough.
here's the reasoning behind that too. Like, not even just being like, yeah, it's a swamp and whatever. It's the most visited. Isn't it not the most visited of all the parks? So, like, more people have statistically probably been here. Also, just what a sad sack to end on. I just feel like any Disney park, yeah, it's like a good park, but you're just kind of like, wah wah. I don't know.
Okay, so Disneyland makes sense to start it more than Walt Disney World for me because that's setting the story. And Adventures by Disney, it's about the story.
Sure, but go to the
And
one
you
that
wanna-
started next, right?
Yeah, but you don't want to fly that way. You want to fly with the time zones.
Oh,
So
you
you're
think that's what it
you're
is?
always flying. I know at one point it crosses over. It makes more sense to travel that direction
Gotcha.
than the opposite.
Look at this
So,
guy, Jules Verne over here, writing Around the World in 80 Days.
Yeah, and
I
ultimately
don't know
too-
if that's who wrote it. I think so.
Yeah,
I was
but
thinking more like Rick Steves. Okay.
I could be a Rick Steves. I'm the It's Rick Steves.
I don't know who
Just
that is.
not as popular, not on PBS, and kind of more annoying, and not as knowledgeable too. So all those things together, and that's me.
Oh, you're the Orlando, Florida at the end of the Disney trip.
Yeah. No, but here's we can't crap on it because ultimately the people
live
who are
here.
taking the people taking this trip aren't here. So at the end of the day,
True.
they're getting to go here, and the whole point is to get to say you've
Yeah.
done all
All
the
the
Disney,
Disney
parks,
parks.
in one trip.
That's cool.
Which is cool. Like I know people who do it in a calendar year. They try to do. We have friends that are doing it right now, and
Are they on the
it's
trip
just-
right now?
I don't know if they're on the trip right now, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Regardless, they're
They're
visiting
doing it.
every Disney park in one swoop, and
That's crazy.
yeah, I just it's a very cool thing. I will never be able to afford it, even if they continue it. But
Listen,
if you can,
I'll
more
hap-
power to you.
Happily be somebody's plus one. Actually, how long is the trip? Did you say it's like 3 weeks?
24
right?
days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I can be away from the dogs for 24 days.
You say that, but when we did that Italy cruise, I think we were gone for like 16 days, something like
yeah,
that.
but
It
that,
was on the long
was
side.
that in 2018?
It was.
So Artie was only like 5, and now Artie's going to be 10. So I was like, I don't know that I can leave my 10-year-old dog for 24 days, and God forbid something happen, I'll just be destroyed.
That big trip, the Beyond the Parks trip that I did with Pete and them in 2013, that was 7 days at Alani, a Disney cruise for 7 nights. Then we had like an extra night or two in Vancouver. Then three nights, I think, in Los Angeles, and then the 6-night ABD at the end.
Oh my gosh. that
one was longer than this. And I will say that it's very hard to be away from home that long. But
Yeah.
Laundry.
Kylie and I were just dating. I was
Disposable underwear.
Yeah.
I was rewearing
Bandanas.
a lot of clothes.
Yeah.
And it was so hard to pack for that because, going
The
from
temperature.
Hawaii
Yeah.
to then, and it was kind of chilly when we were in Alaska. So like it really was just bouncing all around in terms of temperature. I did not get sick at all. So
Oh, good for
pretty
you.
proud of myself on that.
That's a
one.
good brag.
Yeah. It's a very good brag if I do say so myself.
Don't
A very
trust
good adult brag, I will say.
Yeah. I didn't
Don't-
get sick.
Don't trust him. Sometimes he's sick and says he isn't sick. I've traveled with him too many times. I'm just tired. I'm just sweating.
I swear, it's just allergies.
No.
He's better about it, way better about it now, post-COVID, than he was pre-COVID. Pre-COVID, he'd probably be. I thought he was dying one time, and it did turn out his lung had collapsed.
Yeah.
But he was just like, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. And I was
Didn't
like, Are you
collapse.
So
sick?
glad
And he
you
was
had
like,
a child, 'cause
No.
now you take care of
It
yourself.
didn't collapse. I had a pulmonary embolism.
I almost said, sorry, bad word, sorry.
Thank you for not saying that. But ultimately,
Potato,
Potato was what yeah, that's the better
here
version
I
of what
need
was about to
Erica
say.
here because I was so proud of her the other week when she came to the show sick. I'm like, that's my girl.
Yeah, and I
my
was just
girl.
like, I told her, I was
She's
like, don't you let him rub off on you.
She's following in my footsteps of doing what you need to do to get the job done, even though she could not physically talk without needing to cough or sneeze and was miserable the entire time she was here.
That's why I always carry a bottle of Lysol with me, like my grandmother used to spray me down with when I was sick.
That's a good tip, Rhino. Great
My
tip for
grandmother
everyone.
used to feed me codeine pills.
She's trying to knock you out.
Well,
Sleep it off, child.
Before things get too dark, let's round up the news with the final news story, and that's Disneyland has released all of its Halloween details now, including dates for Oogie Boogie Bash and more. Halloween time at the resort starts September 1st through October 31st, and that includes decor in the parks. Cars Land turns into Radiator Screams, and attraction overlays in that land, plus Haunted Mansion Holiday, Guardians of the Galaxy's Monsters After Dark.
Wait, did they call it Radiator Screams? I thought it was called Trunk or Treat. Halloween. Did they change?
Yeah, it's the Cars Land Halloween. It turns into Radiator Screams from
Instead of
Radiator
Radiator
Springs.
Springs.
Welcome to Radiator Screams.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I thought it was the other. I thought it was the other title. Anyway, continue.
And now you know.
Yeah.
Halloween Screams will be performed each night at Disneyland Park. And, of course, that means Wondrous Journeys is on hiatus starting August 31st. And, of course, Christmas fireworks start right after that. So after August 31st, Wondrous Journeys will not be shown again in 2023. So if you're going there anytime after August 31st, expecting it, I'm sorry. You're out of luck.
If it's like their other fireworks show, it'll randomly be playing on one of your trips in the future someday.
Yeah, no, it'll come back in 2024. They're not letting this show go anytime soon. People love it. But Plaza de la Familia and Dia de los Muertos will be celebrated at Disney California Adventure a little bit longer until November 2nd. Of course, that means specialty Mexican cuisine, the musical celebration of Coco, plus a lot more. As far as Oogie Boogie Bash, that's 25 select evenings between September 5th and October 31st with trick-or-treat trails, the Mickey and whatever treat show.
Sorry?
I scrolled away on my script, so
okay.
I lost my spot. The Mickey's Trick and Treat Show, the Frightfully Fun Parade. I should know it. We've been to it. But Villains Grove, and then, of course, lots of candy. Tickets go on sale June 29th, with Magic Key holders having the chance to get pre-sale tickets on June 27th. And the party goes from 6 p.m. through 11 p.m. at Disney California Adventure on those nights, with mix-ins starting at 3 p.m. So really, you can be in there from 3 until 11 with the tickets. Now, how much do they cost? Well, they range between $134 at the cheapest and $189 at the most expensive. So Tuesdays in September, $134. Thursdays are $144. Sundays are $159, and then it just jumps up a little bit, and then it becomes like in early October. It's $159 on Tuesdays, $169 on Thursdays or on Sundays, and eventually it builds up to those two last days that are at the $189, which it's a lot of money for it. And
it's tough too because those tickets sell quick, and it's hard because sometimes you just don't know. Like, you didn't say when they go on sale yet, right?
I did.
Oh, when
June
is it?
29th
Yeah.
for all people. June 29th for all people, the public. June 27th for Magic Key holders.
And the hard part is being like, okay, I want to go, but I can't plan a trip that, like, being like, okay, sometime in October, and like life happens and it's hard to move the ticket around and stuff, so it's like, it stinks. So it's like one of those where it's like, lock in the dates. When you know the dates, you got to lock them in. Yep. You got to think about it ahead of time. Don't hesitate on those tickets.
Yeah, they will go very, very quickly. So get on them quickly if you want to go. I know most people who have gone to this event rave about it. They think it is the greatest thing ever. It is true. The characters that are there are very unique. And, the parade, it's a fun parade. Villains Grove is definitely one of those immersive experiences with so many lights and effects that it's like you have to see it to truly understand it. No video will ever do it justice.
No.
I do not believe it is worth the price. I hated it the first time that we did it, and I left.
You cannot speak on the second time at all.
I cannot speak on the second time, but I had such a bad experience that I left the park and was later refunded for it. So, yeah, I'm not. I will never go back to it. To me, I don't like how Disneyland does their events. I never liked the Halloween party at Disneyland as well, too. For some reason, their hard ticket events just. The ones I've done don't work as well. And yeah, there were so many issues with the last time we tried Oogie Boogie Bash, and like waiting 30 minutes in a food line only to be told that I can't actually just walk up and pay for an item. I have to pay through the app. Yet
Oh.
There's no sign
it wouldn't
for
let
it.
me
Yeah.
because then when I'm trying to pay for it in the app, it was telling me you can't be here. You're in a hard ticket event.
Yeah.
So I'm like, can I just buy it? And they're like, yeah, you can. Now that you've waited 30 minutes, but then you'll have to get back in line to wait to pick it up again. I'm like, I'm just burning time and money here.
Yeah,
So it was very frustrating.
I do agree. That is a problem there for sure. Is that there's a lot of lines that you just kind of like. You really have to be committed to what you're going to do. But it's hard. It's hard to on the fly be like, okay, I want to get that snack. I'm worried about it for the Pride night, honestly. Like I'm trying to set my expectations. But I think that'll be like a different because it's going to be a different type of celebration.
Yeah. You're gonna be with friends. You're gonna have fun. It's going to be different.
Lines,
and
I don't
I'm
think
more
you'll care
anal
as much
about this
about
kind of
lines.
stuff.
Well, and that's the thing too is I try to we're going to do the parks the next day too. So I was like, okay. So I was like, I tried to tell them I was like, let's not stress about rides and stuff. Let's see the special things like.
And that's the difference with me. I'm like, if we don't have everything done within the first 10 minutes of being there, then we didn't do it right, and it was a complete ripoff.
See, I need to be fed though. That's the thing is I need to be like constantly fed when I'm at Disneyland specifically. So that's what I'm a little stressed out.
You're like the Bacchus of Disneyland. We just have to feed you grapes the whole time.
Yeah, constant.
It was a lot nicer than I was going to call him the Jabba the Hutt of Disneyland.
Yeah, mine was much nicer. Remember that right now.
Banana julep.
Oh, it's okay. He knows I love him. He knows that. But okay, that's it for rapid fire.
Wait,
sorry
what?
for the news.
No.
Let's move on to rapid fire. Julie, we'll start with you.
Oh, hi. I was giggling to myself about something
Just
else.
gonna keep laughing like that the rest of the show.
Okay. I'm looking at the Monday merch from Zoe Wood, and
This is a funny. Can you see this on the
yes,
screen?
oh,
Okay.
I can, and I can read it from here too.
Okay.
Not that style though, FYI. Okay.
Shoot.
Shoot.
But I love the new Bambi print. I think it is adorable. I actually saw it in person when I was at Disney Springs.
This is Dooney and Burke, right?
It is Dooney and Burke. They also have a wallet, which is super cute. It's just Bambi, Thumper, and Flower on it. I'm looking at it on my phone. And then they have a satchel drawstring bag, which is really cute. They have this, which is an actual satchel. They call that just a drawstring bag. And then they have a tote as well as a magic band. So lots and lots. I feel like it's a lot for the collection because Moana didn't have nearly as much. Big fan of Bambi. Love the characters. I won't say I love the movie because of the storyline, but I do enjoy it. Anyway, that was it. That was the only thing I liked in the merch.
That's okay. I mean, listen, Bambi needs more merchandise. I'll be the
super
first to say
cute.
it.
I
He
mean,
is. He
and
is.
Pretty Little April Showers. I love that song.
When did
I would
Bambi
like-
become a girl's name too? You know what I mean? Like, because isn't this movie older than time?
He's a boy.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that because you just said he, and I was like, Bambi is a boy because he gets the horns later.
Yeah.
And the girl.
It's because Bambi is the name origin for it has an Italian origin, meaning child, baby, girl.
It's funny.
Like Bambino.
My cousin's name is Madison, and the name Madison actually means son of soldier. But because of American Girl dolls, everybody started naming their girls it. So everybody
know one
always
guy
assumes
named Madison. Wow.
it's Madison. And I was like, I feel bad because the origin of the word is it's a male name. It's crazy. It's weird. But that's his journey in life, not mine.
Correct.
Wow.
He's getting married in July.
It's not that. I just went on the origin story with Bambino then.
The Great Bambino?
Obviously, the Great Bambino. Babe Ruth.
Yes.
So it's, but like, oh, yeah, Babe Ruth, baby. So it's the Great Baby, huh? Wow. It's all tying together now.
I think
You
it was
never
because
knew.
he was like
You never knew.
cherubic. Like he looked like he was a little. It was John Goodman again. This is the second time we brought up John Goodman.
That's offensive to
I'll make
the
sure
Great
it's gonna be a
Bambino.
third.
So maybe let's stop while we're ahead.
The Connors renewed for season 6.
Rhino, what do you have?
I actually have another Disneyland story as well, and this one's not frustrating. It is frustrating for me because it literally starts the day, like 2 days before I get there, and I'm worried I won't have a pass for my pass to go to the park on that Friday. But for a limited time, California residents can visit Disneyland Resort for as little as $83 per person per day with the special ticket offer going on. These 3-day one park per day tickets start at $249 for admissions Mondays through Thursdays, or as low as $299, which is $100 per day, for admission any day, including weekends, for eligible guests. Upgrades such as Park Hopper tickets or Genie Plus services are also available. These limited time tickets are available for purchase beginning right now. But the California residents can redeem these tickets starting June 12th through September 8th, and on obviously eligible days and subject to park reservation availability. And it's unfortunate because I've literally been on the phone twice with Disneyland now about being like, when I renewed my Magic Key, I didn't go up the next level, which I should have done, but I was like, oh, I'll do it when I get there. Because when you renew it, it looked like it was all still on sale to the public. And I was like, well, it's still on sale, whatever. And then the next day, I was like, you know what? I better double check that. And it said it was only available for renewal. So I called and they were like, no, once you finalize payment, there's nothing we can do. You can upgrade to the top tier pass, and that's $1,600. And I was like, that is $900 more. But I'm at it now where I was like, okay, so I made all these paintings, sold these paintings, and I was like, now I'm going to upgrade this ticket because I'm just going to pretend like I made these paintings for an exchange of a Disneyland ticket. And so I called again, and they were like, no, you can only do it at the ticket booth. And I said, okay, well, I already have a non-refundable room booked. I'm at the party, the hard ticket for the party, and my friends already have their park tickets and reservations for the next day. I was like, is there any way I can just make a reservation? How would that work? And I was like, if I bought a 1-day park ticket to guarantee it, could I apply that to the pass? And they were like, no, but you're more than welcome to buy the 1-day park ticket and just enjoy that. And I was like, okay. Well, I tried to even be like, well, I'll be there for a week in August as well, and it's out of the dates as well. So that's my whole hope, is that I'm spending all this money in your park. And they were just like, no. I was like, okay, so this is a new level of stress that I haven't felt before. So that I'm getting that Wednesday, and I'm going to try and just run to the ticket booth and be like, hi, can I have an annual pass? And then hope that there were still passes. But they only have passes for California Adventure for that Friday, which is fine because that's where I wanted to start the day anyways. But that's why I'm stressed out, because I'm like, they're going to be gone by then. It's a whole nother week. So
it's all going to be okay, Rhino. Just remember, a little bit of kindness goes a long way in life.
I asked too. I was like, so when I get there, if that's the case, if they're gone, and then I guess I wouldn't get the pass, can I still buy the 1-day park ticket? And they're like, yeah, assuming it's not sold out. And they're like, and I was like, oh, is that a thing? Do you sell? Are the parks usually full on this random days in June? And they were like, it could be.
It could be.
And I was just like, oh God. I was just like, okay, thank you for the help. And I was trying to say it not sarcastically. And they're like, okay, there's a survey at the end of the thing. Click. And I was just like, oh man, all right. I was super nice too, because I was like, I'm just going to play it being like, hey, love the park, love to be there, can't wait to be there, super excited for this event.
They were probably having a bad day.
I was an idiot, I even was like, it was my fault, obviously. I'm an idiot. I didn't actually read the thing, blah, blah, blah.
It's okay.
No.
Just remember, be kind, go in.
Be kind, rewind.
That's what I was
best.
thinking. Rewind.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah. I'm just going to hope for the best. I'm hoping for the best.
It'll be a good time. So, okay, we are
Good
we're
job,
at the end of the
Craig.
show here.
That's what you do as a parent.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying.
It's making you feel
Trying to make you feel better.
Yeah.
You know what? I learned from the best, Mr. Rogers. You just talk to the children like they are adults.
Yes.
And hear them and let them know that it's okay to feel feelings. Everyone feels them, and don't hide them. Don't be afraid of it. It's
Don't
okay.
conceal.
It's okay. Don't feel. Don't conceal.
No.
No.
Don't conceal.
Don't
Feel.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We're trying to do the opposite of Elsa, okay?
I'll watch the movie. And take some notes on it. Okay, we're at the end here. We technically are out of time, but I'll just throw it out there. Any highlights from Disney over the past week for you? I mean, I know you and Gideon's. You're still eating through your highlight.
Oh, well, no, it's not a highlight.
Okay. You sure?
Is it a low light?
Yes, because I'm going to complain again about Disney Springs. Get some new stores.
Yeah, honestly, I feel that.
I mean, no, my friend who was visiting that I met for the first time asked me, she was like, do you come here to shop? And I was like, no. I said, they're too expensive. I'm like, and most of these places I can find in my local mall.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would I come here?
It's meant to keep people from going to the outlets.
Yeah, but
even then,
make it affordable at least, or find some local Florida artisans or some local Florida seamstresses, people who may have their own line of clothing, something that is not just regurgitated mall.
Yeah, it's. I will say, though, in terms of the local businesses aspect with it, I know, like in my area, the residents are nonstop complaining about how everything is a chain coming in, and it's all banks and dentist office, and it's just the amount of money that it costs for the real estate and to have the rent for any of these places, let alone on Disney property, is so great that
I'm sure
no one can even come in and have a fair chance at it. So
it's just sad.
I
And
know,
it kind of
it
sucks
is. It
that
is.
you have
I
you
wish.
come and pay all this money for your Disney vacation, and then you go to like enjoy maybe some shopping time. You really don't want to spend another arm and a leg on like a $400 shirt or pair of pants, like, you know.
I think my problem is I wish there was more stores that were like Uniqlo, where like Uniqlo, there are. I mean, yes, there is one in the Florida Mall now, but the one at Disney Springs was first.
Yes.
But that yes, there are other stores around the United States. Like the first one I went to was in New York City, and it's cool. But I like how they also sell. They always have a Disney line there, and it's also like it's a chain, but it's not a chain that's accessible to everyone everywhere.
But
It's the
everyone
same with,
can
like,
go
the
to
Lego
a
store.
Zara. Everyone can go to an Anthropology. Everybody can go to a Kate Spade, a Coach, like all these, makeup stores, whatever. I'm like you. I want a place like Uniqlo. So why not maybe pick some places from around the world? You have all these different theme parks in Shanghai, Hong Kong, Paris. Find some stores there that maybe are chains and bring them here where we don't have access to them. I don't know. Something needs to be done.
Money
Just my
talks.
opinion.
Money talks. I don't. The only place I shop at Disney Springs are the Disney-owned stores, and then the Lego store, and that's about it. I don't think I mean, every now and then Uniqlo.
Yeah,
Buy
Uniqlo
something.
because they make the stretchy pants that fits my thick legs.
I go to the Anthropology sales section, and if there's nothing there, I leave.
I don't have Anthropology money.
That's why I go to the sales section.
No cinnamon roll money.
Rhino, what about you?
I don't know.
That's okay.
I don't know. I saw Spider-Verse at Disney Springs.
Oh.
That was the second time I saw it because I saw it in the Altamont Dolby first. And I finally, Eli's gotten an AMC A-list finally, so I can
Welcome
stop
to the
wasting money.
It's about time.
So I have now 2 Entourage members, you and Eli. So I can make a ticket for you. But that was an experience. I will say that movie is phenomenal. Anybody who has the means or whatever, the ability to be able to get to a screen to see it on the largest screen possible, you should definitely do it. Not do I just think it was a phenomenal movie. I think yes, Spider-Man, incredible animated movie, incredible movie period. It's just one of those sort of things where you're like, this is what movie theaters are for. This type of a movie, and it's like so unique and fun. But I'm gonna cough. I'm sorry.
Why'd you cut to me to
Yeah.
cough? Like,
I didn't want to
looked like
anyone
it was
see
a
my
mime-
cough
a
face.
mime.
I mean,
cough.
everyone still heard you.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't care about that, but I don't want to
Just
the
me
edits.
sitting back with
You
a double
still
chin.
you just made the face.
Right. But anyway, I was going to say, it's fun to go there, but it was my first time going, so it's not like positive. It was my first time going there, and they were out of popcorn. And all the drink machines didn't have ice in it. They were so warmed, and I was like, well, this lost my case for being like, this is a great movie theater to go to today. But no. Yeah. Sorry. I get stuff like this week. I'm finally going to make the trek to Magic Kingdom for the first time since Tron opened.
Listen, it's the whole point of it is just, do you have any? If it was just like, no, you know what, parks were crowded. It's a, even though Julie complained a little bit, not insulting you. It's a segment to just say yeah, this was a really good experience at Disney or surrounding Disney. So it doesn't, you have nothing,
I had a great burger at Deluxe Burger.
it's always a great burger.
Yeah,
there.
it's
I
good
always
burger
get the
there.
kid size one. It's perfect.
Oh, well, you're a monster for that.
A monster.
You're a monster.
What is that? Why?
No.
Well, Craig
They're-
and I will split the adult size one and then be angry that we didn't each get our own, so it's fine.
Yes.
I don't
and,
waste any food, and that makes me feel good.
Oh, well, I don't waste any food at Deluxe Burger, too. I could probably order 2 burgers. Actually, I did one time. I
Also,
did a video of it.
I don't want to pay adult prices either.
Yeah, their prices are very
Yeah.
expensive there. So it's tough. But, every time I look at it and say, God, this place is so overpriced, then I eat it and I'm like, you know what? I am content spending the money that I just spent on
Yeah,
it.
because it's way better than Chicken Guy.
I am super excited for my trip to Disneyland. That's something
I'm excited for
about.
you.
Yeah.
I will say, though, the chicken guy in Winter Park.
Did you
I
go?
think it's better. Yeah. Yeah.
Better.
I think it's better. Yeah.
How's the line situation that one?
We didn't wait
No
at
line.
all. We pulled right up and went through.
I drive by a lot, so. Usually there's a line at Chick-fil-A, not a chicken guy.
Yeah. But I think it's a good option if you're randomly in Winter Park looking for
Food.
chicken guy. I don't know why you would be. That's the hesitancy in my eyes and voice.
Oh, never mind. I was going to say, hey, we should go to that new tiki bar. Speaking of that, but
No,
I already texted you about it, and it was reservation. That's like forever.
It's okay. Well, I think that's going to do it for this show.
You've got 4 other pictures in here. That say
Yeah,
the word-
once again, we will get to the canoe races of the world eventually.
Oh, I thought they were pictures of birds because they say
No.
crow.
Yeah,
So
canoe-
I was like, he saw a bird.
We went through this last week.
Yeah, I know. I remember now.
It'll be the last time Disney invites me anywhere. They're like, it took you 6 months to talk about this thing that we invited you to see. I'm like, well, I'm sorry. It's just we run out of time. We always run out of time. So that's unfortunately a problem to it. It's much like
Marty.
the SNL skit, What Up With That, where they just never have time for Lindsey Buckingham. But maybe next time. So, okay, that's going to do it for this week's episode. I truly hope you did enjoy it. If you did and you want to support us more, again, book a vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel. Get that free no obligation quote today at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. If you are watching this on YouTube and you want to say, hey, thank you for the fun, entertaining hour, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you always get notified the next time we have a fun, entertaining hour, and leave comments, questions, video suggestions, leave those all in the comment section. And if you listen to this podcast, always make sure you say subscribe so you get the latest episode dropped into your feed. And if it's at a place where you can leave us a rating and review, please take the time to do so. Maybe more people will find out about us and listen for the first time, and then leave those 1-star reviews that say, oh man, things have changed. It's just not as good as when Pete was around. Why do all these people complain nonstop? They are in a different percentage than everyone else. But that's just a sampling of the iTunes comments.
Just
That's
a
just a
sampling.
sampling of the ratings and reviews for that. But it's okay. But ultimately, yes. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen and watch this episode. We truly do appreciate it. We appreciate all of you. We hope you have a great week, and we will see you again next time with another episode of the Diz Unplugged. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.